Welcome to Ben's second VOD review. I want to start by going over two simple concepts. First being understanding angle advantage. In this first clip, you die and seem to not understand why the enemy could see you, but you couldn't see them. When you're holding an angle, generally on defense or in post plant, you're going to be at an advantage if you're further from the corner than the enemy will be when they peek. Understanding whether or not you have the angle advantage can be difficult in the moment, but if you imagine an invisible line from you to the corner you're holding, and similarly an invisible line from the same corner to where the enemy will peek, and then compare the lengths of the two lines, you can estimate whether or not you have the advantage. If you don't have the advantage, you need to hold S in order to increase your distance from the angle. So here are a few examples of what it looks like when you're at an angle disadvantage and someone peeks properly, i.e. they're not just wide swinging out into 10 different angles, but they're taking their time to slowly clear each one. I'm using pings in these examples. You won't be able to do that in the game, of course, because you're not going to be able to ping from both sides, but you just need to imagine it in your head and try to estimate whether or not you're at the advantage. The second simple concept I want to cover is playing tight and peeking with intent. So in this clip, your peeks have improved quite a lot. You're no longer just swinging out wide into loads of different angles, but you're tapping A&D, slowly clearing things. However, you can still improve this by peeking with more intent. So what this means is by consciously imagine an enemy before you peek the corner. So you see the enemy there in your mind, you put your crosshair on the head and then you peek it. The benefit from this is that it almost completely removes the need to aim, as you will already be aiming at them when you peek. So as you approach a bomb site, take one common angle at a time and imagine an enemy will be in it. Stop, imagine an enemy in the position you're about to peek, crosshair on the head, be ready to shoot. Peek with ARD, stop, and then shoot, or you carry on to the next position if no one's there. So with these examples, I've got one where I'm going slow, holding shift, and then another quickly without shift, as it will depend on the amount of time in the round how you're going to be doing it. In the second instance, I continue on after the Sage setup examples that I have to clear more common angles to show you what it looks like when there aren't Sages in the map. And then the final clips are of one of the best players in the world showing you how he does it.
What do you mean push right now? I get one at B, I get one at B.
Spike down A.
Just gotta go. I'm gonna smoke. Yeah, we gotta go. Could be long, okay?
They leaving mid link.
Finally, with the main portion of this review, I want to discuss two things. One, being more assertive in your lane, and secondly, playing proactively rather than reactively. In this game, you're playing Sky on Bind, which is a strong pick as it allows you to stall pushes with flashes, gather information as to anyone being at Fountain, and to also be able to dog through a teleporter to get information for your team at Showers. However, you defaulted to doing the same thing every round, using up most, if not all of your utility and not gaining anything from it. So here in consecutive rounds, your lane, B-Long, was lost within 10, 15, 20 seconds. Both flashes were used and no enemies were killed. Either you were killed or you were pushed into elbow. You were being bullied off the lane and sometimes you didn't even know if there was more than one person there. The enemy exploited this throughout the game to easily push into B site as there was little resistance in that lane of the map. You were playing reactively, flashing when you heard someone instead of proactively. In every game of Valorant, you need to ask yourself, what can I do this round to help my team win? Do I want to be aggressive? Do I want to be passive? Do I need to ask for a smoke in a certain position or ask my jet or chamber to come somewhere and peek my flash? What has the enemy been doing and how can I counter that? Instead, in this game, you're repeatedly behaving the same way in every round, and sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. Games are lost when everybody in the team goes silent and continue to do the same thing every round. You need to be more proactive in order to win more games. Some suggestions for this game could have been ask for a second player to help you in lane, whether it's asking for a smoke at the bottom of the lane that you can aim at, asking for Jet to aim into the lane from on site, while you hold a flash in the corner and then flash peek when she has contact. Running to the other side of long next to the teleporter and being silent until the enemy walks up. And finally, most importantly, taking the space when you get information from your Skybird that no one was at the fountain. You're often flashing fountain and finding out no one was there. The most important thing that you can do with that information, other than tell your team, is to take the space so that the total amount of area the enemy can use to win the round is reduced. Getting to the bottom of fountain benefits you in multiple ways. One, you can hear people running around in market and tell your team which bomb site they're leaning towards. Two, you can pinch them from behind if they decide to go to A, putting more pressure on them, making them more anxious about positions other than just straightforwards. Three, if you hear them coming back to you, you can hide in a strange angle and get 2 or 3 kills. This also has the added effect of making them be more cautious in later rounds if they want to rotate back. Of course, again, you don't want to be predictable, so don't repeat the same thing every single time. To carry on the example, if the enemy knows that you're taking fountain off of them after you hear nothing with the flash, they will hide from it and then punish you as you come down. So you need to change how you do it, or if you do it at all. But the point is to put more options into the opponent's mind such that they are always anxious about more possibilities. So the key things to take away from this VOD review: angle advantage. Make sure you're further from the corner you're holding than the enemy will be. Peek with intent. Imagine the enemy in your mind, put your crosshair on the head, hold A or D and stop as you enter that angle. Be prepared to shoot. Be more assertive in your lane. Don't allow the enemy to take it without fight. Use your utility, ask for teammates' utility, and make it a harder position to take. But also know when you should give it up. If there are too many enemies there, you have no utility left to fight it, or time in the round is low, just back off. Be more proactive in how you take each round. The primary question to ask is, what can I do to win this round with how the enemy have been playing so far?
GG's.